Hello.
Hello, hello.
Oh,
This is.
are you set for
We are
questions?
all set. We're all set. We got Miles here. He's got his pen in hand. He's got his interview script for you, and we're actually recording this. So,
Oh,
so you're on speakerphone, but you're being recorded for posterity for our interview with Grammy and Grampy, right, Miles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's the date?
I don't know.
September
September.
21st, 2020.
Wait. Okay.
Yep. Okay, you've got Grammy and Grampy right there, Miles. So I'll step out of the frame and you can just ask them the questions and take any notes you want here. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Grammy and Grampy, for doing this.
Yes. No,
we only hope we have some answers.
we have to know something about the interviewer first. Now, what's the interviewer's name? Who
What?
are you? What is your name, Mr. Interviewer?
Miles.
What's your last name?
And
Kay.
what's your middle name? What's your middle?
Thomas.
That's right. That's recognized. And what's your last name?
Kay.
Oh, so your name is Miles Thomas Kay. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And how old are you, Mr. Kay?
I'm 7 years old.
7 years old. Okay.
Can you write all these answers that we give you?
Yeah, he's gonna write them down.
Okay. All right.
I'll take some notes too, so he can be free to be as conversational as he wants. But
Okay.
take it away, Miles Thomas K. Who are you
Okay.
interviewing? Do you know what their names are?
Grammy and Grampy.
Grammy and Grampy. Grampy's name is
What is
Tom.
Thomas K.
Mm-hmm.
You got him.
what is Grammy's name?
What?
What's Grammy's name?
Grammy's name is Marion.
Marion Kay. That's right.
Marion Kay. Right. Okay. Very good.
Go for it, Miles. What do you want to ask them?
First question is, where did you live and what kind of home did you have when you were my age?
Now, say the question again.
Where did you live and what kind of home did you have?
Okay, so we'll let Grammy start off. Mrs. Kay, Marion Kay.
Marion Kay. Yes.
Okay.
Where did I live?
Yeah, where did you live?
I lived in a house, and
What town?
it was a house that we owned, and it was in Detroit, Michigan, which is a state back east from here.
So, you lived in a town in Michigan?
Yes, in Michigan, but it was, the town was a big city. It was Detroit.
Okay,
That's where I lived in.
okay. And
Okay.
what else did you want to know?
Another
And
question?
you could answer it too, Dad, and that way he'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lived in several different houses as I grew older. I first lived in Greenwich, Connecticut until I was 9. And then I lived in Ohio until I was 18. And then I lived in Florida until I was 25 years old. So I lived in different houses as I grew up. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sounds good. We're making progress here. Keep going there, buds.
How did you get to the grocery store and back home
Wait, I
again?
think number 2.
Oh, what is your favorite book?
What was your favorite book?
Yeah.
Growing up.
I can't remember what was my favorite book, other than the Bible. But let's see.
That's pretty
Anyway.
good. Pretty good start.
Okay.
How about you, Grampy?
I think I had 2 favorite books. One was the Redwood Box, and the other one was Dr. Doolittle and his talking animals. Right?
Okay, pretty good. I think they're
Did
making
he
it.
write that fast? Or are we going?
No, that's great. This is probably a good pace since we have a lot of these.
Another question?
Yeah, Doctor Doolittle. Remember that? There's a new movie that just came out, I think.
Oh yeah.
I feel
Okay.
like I recognize it.
Yeah.
But the third question is how did you get to the grocery store and back home again?
I would go by just walk, and the store was about 2 or 3 blocks away from my house, and sometimes I was sent to the store to get things that other people wanted. And let's see, what else was about that question?
That was it, yeah. How did you get to the grocery store? And back?
Okay.
Oh, and sometimes I would take a wagon, and they would put the groceries in the wagon. And but I didn't go to the grocery store all the time. Other people in the family went. Mostly, my mother and father went, and they would drive a car there. And then they would, instead of putting groceries in bags, they put them. Oh, let's see. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, here, Debbie, how did you do?
Well, I didn't go to the grocery store until I was about 9 years old, because we lived way out in the country. But about 9 till maybe 13 or 14, I would walk a couple of blocks as Grandma did, and I went to the Atlantic and Pacific Tea Company. It was called A&P, and we would buy eggs at 28 cents a dozen, and milk, and sometimes bleach, because I brought home a gallon of bleach in a glass jug, and I tripped just as I was getting from the walkway into a house, and the bottle broke, and I got bleach all over my pants, and they became very white. So anyway, I walked over to the grocery store, about the same distance, okay?
Wow, that's a trauma story.
That's kind of like of what happened to Henry.
Oh, really? Did he something break when he came back from the grocery store?
Well, the story that I heard was he was at the grocery, and then they were at the grocery store going through the pickle lane. So he got the pickles and then dropped them on the floor.
That's right. He dropped the pickle jar, and we broke it, and there was pickle juice everywhere in aisle 2, I think.
So nowadays, people would say, if you're in trouble, you're in a pickle. So
That's right.
maybe the pickles really wanted out of the jar, and they were talking to Henry. And no everybody else could hear the pickles. They said, let me out, let me out.
That's true.
Think that happened?
Could be.
Could be. Okay. All right. Here's what Grammy for the next question.
Okay, next question. Although Will's got a quick question here.
So, it's for you.
Oh, that's the question for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you guys doing right now?
We're recording an interview with Grammy and Grampy for Miles' class.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we can help you in a minute. Unless you want
Am I gonna be in it now?
to. Well, it's not to turn in.
Oh. Just really quick. Does it make sense to say Gatsby did not truly love Daisy, but rather loved the idea of her? But rather, does it make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah, that's good. Makes perfect sense.
Well,
All right, we're doing all
This
kinds of
is so
assignments.
painful.
Will's doing the Great Gatsby right now.
Oh, really? My goodness.
Okay, back to the interview. Let's see. Take it away, Miles. Your next question.
what did you do for fun?
For what?
The fun.
Oh, for fun.
What did you do for fun?
Oh, I and the children in my neighborhood all like to roller skate, and so we would roller skate in the street. And the roller skates didn't have shoes on them, and then wheels attached to the shoes, but instead they were clamp on they would clamp onto your daily shoes you wore, just your regular street shoes.
Mm.
And let's see, I keep losing track of what I'm.
That's right. Yeah, roller skating in the streets with the clamp-on roller skates.
Oh yeah.
How about
Because
you, Grant?
The shoes in those days had soles that stuck out from
Mm-hmm.
wider than the shoe itself, and they were leather, and that's what. And the roller skates had clamps that could use a key to tighten them, and the little clamp could come in and grip the edges of those leather shoes, and those are the kind of skates we had. Later on, as things got more developed, they were lace up, sort of like high top shoes.
The wheels were attached to
And the wheels were attached to the shoes. You didn't have to clamp them on.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Anyway, that was how things were developing when we were children, and they improved as they got older.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. How about you, Grampy?
A similar story. The clamp-ons, actually, there was a metal frame that was the shape of the sole of the shoe. So that metal frame is where the wheels were attached to. And then the clamps that came in at this up around where the ball of your foot would be, and back around the heel, they had a key that tightened that up. So we would roller skate on the sidewalks and go quite some distance in town, and we knew where the sidewalk was nice and smooth, and we knew where it was very rough. I guess can't think of what else we did for fun then. But that was one of the things. Yeah. Anyway.
That's one of the things. Okay, roller skating.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar answers.
Remy?
This is good. We're learning all kinds of things, right, Miles?
Mm-hmm.
You want to ask question number 5?
Uh-huh. What kind of music did you listen to?
Did we listen to music?
Yeah.
I don't know. They had what they called popular songs. I guess nowadays you would call them pop music, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But they were that shortened popular songs. Anyway, I guess they always on the radio is where we would listen to these songs. We didn't have record players or things like that. And later on, as we grew older, then we had more things to listen to. But
do you remember any of the popular songs that anything jump out at you?
Yes, the songs were really kind of crazy. Like there was one that went something about Mersey Dotes and Dozy Dotes and Little Lambsy Divey. And that would be a really popular song. But it just seems ridiculous. And then there was something about the little fish went up to the stream. And that one.
I think Grampy knows both of those songs by heart, if I recall.
Swam right over the dam.
Would you add anything to that, Dad? Anything, any music that you listen to?
Yeah, I guess I remember much music when I was small. I remember we got a record player, and that was a big thing to have vinyl. And when I was about 13, the Army Air Corps song was my favorite one. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, flying high into the sun. So that one, but the popular ones were, I Got a Gal in Kalamazoo, Zoo, Zoo, Kalamazoo. Or there was a radio program, and it was on about 6 o'clock, and for a whole week, they would play the same song over, and every night you'd hear it. So by the time a week was over, you pretty much knew all the words to that song. So anyway, popular songs, and I didn't know anything about opera music, but when I was about 13, a high school class in Connecticut joined a high school trip, a grade school trip all over Connecticut, and we went to the Metropolitan Music Theater in New York City, and we saw 2 different operas. So that was my introduction into sophisticated music. Okay.
Wow. Remember what the operas were?
Yeah, there was Faust and see what was I can't think of the other one right now. But I remember that one of my friends had more money and he was able to afford a seat in the box section. This was from matinees, and the whole theater was filled with school kids from Connecticut, New York, and at the intermission time, I had a seat up in a where it was 35 cents for the seat. I think he paid $2 for his box, and he was the only person in this box very close to the stage. So he said, "There's no one sitting next to me. Why don't you just come back to me? They won't ask for tickets anymore." So for the second half of the opera, I was next to him, and I could see how heavy the makeup was. I realized that from the peanut gallery.
Wow. What year was that, do you think?
This would be 1939, 1940, and about there, yeah.
Wow.
And I think we went down on the train to New York City. We would have advertisements in the train stations for what the Broadway plays were. And I think Life with Father, I think that was one of the popular Broadway plays at the time. Well, that was quite an adventure to
I bet.
the train for half an hour, 45 minutes, and then across the streets in New York City, all these school kids. So Faust and somehow I can't think of the other one.
I wonder what that was. It was. I wonder if it could have been Magic Flute or Carmen or what else would it be? Marriage of Figaro.
No. I would have thought there'd been something more oriented towards kids, but they weren't necessarily. Maybe whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
For regular performances.
We could look that up. Probably somebody on the internet has archived all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right. I'll let Miles take this back. Let's see. You want to go to question 6, Miles?
All right. What did you wear to school?
We kind of dressed up, and we would wear skirts and dresses, the girls, and not like nowadays where they wear shorts and all kinds of, goofy things. But we really were kind of dressed up, almost like we would go when you go to church. And,
How about you, Grampy?
Well, in the case of boys, we wore knickers that would go down below the knee, and then you wore stockings from there, long stockings that would go down and cover your feet. But that was kind of what boys were knickers. And when I was, maybe 12 years old, I got a pair of long pants that men would wear, and that was like a transition from childhood into semi-adulthood.
Wow.
It was a big deal. They were a pair of corduroy pants, I remember.
Wow.
And I guess the shirts, we wore wool hats that you pull down over your ear. And I guess wool clothes. And I had to walk quite some distance to get to middle school. I guess I walked maybe 6 or 8 lots. It was a long walk. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
So you're part of that. You're part of that scandalous younger generation that I learned about in The Music Man, where
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
young men who, after they leave the house, they rebuckle their knickers below
Oh, yeah.
the knees.
Right. Yeah. That was really daring. I don't think we ever did. Seems I guess they must have been buckles. I can't remember the buckles, but I remember the transition. I do remember the push for the long pants. That was a big deal. And
Trouble in
men
River
wore
City.
knickers when they were playing golf. So I mean, that was not that men didn't wear knickers, but
Yeah.
the average man wore long pants.
I see.
Okay.
All right, Miles, take it away. Number 7.
Number 7. If you had a television, what was your favorite show?
Well, it took a long time to get a television because they weren't invented when we were really young children.
True.
And so now, anyway, when they were, I forgot what I was going to say.
Maybe when you did finally get a TV,
Oh yeah.
what shows did you like?
We liked, I guess there were detective stories, and detectives who were detectives? Things like the Green Hornet,
The guy who was a judge
oh yeah, and there were talent shows that we liked. And they had a contest on radio with singers, musicians,
Mm-hmm.
and that were on Major Cole's original amateur hour.
What was it called again?
It was called Major Cole's on the original amateur hour. Is that right, Tom?
Huh.
Yeah.
Never heard of that.
And he always, and I guess they won money. Didn't they?
Yeah, and Kate Smith.
Oh yeah, Kate Smith was a favorite singer, and so
Well-
she did she have her own show? Oh yeah,
Huh. What was her name? Kate Smith?
Kate Smith. She was a big, heavy woman.
Uh-huh.
She, not a glamour girl at all.
Huh.
She kind of popularized God Bless America.
Oh.
Yeah, before that, there wasn't any, other than national anthem, there wasn't any.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said Major Bow?
Major Bowes.
Bowles.
No, I thought it was B-O-W-S.
Or maybe a D-O-W-S, yeah.
Okay. Huh. Interesting.
Even a major in the military, I think that's why they called them major.
Got it. Okay. So you were actually older when the Beatles finally came on TV with Ed Sullivan.
Oh yeah.
You were well into adulthood by then.
I was teaching. I remember I was teaching. I had already graduated from college and had a job as a teacher, as an art teacher.
When that happened. Was everyone talking about that the next day? Was that a water cooler discussion the next day?
Yeah, really.
And then Elvis too would have been a little bit before that, I guess, when he was on Ed Sullivan, I would think.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was on Ed Sullivan.
Okay, Miles. You want to go back to this one, Miles?
Mm-hmm.
I was asking too many follow-up questions, and Miles drifted off and started coloring.
No, I was just trying to do like a 3D sphere once.
A 3D sphere.
What kind of phone did you have?
Oh, it took us a long time to get a telephone after they were invented. But, and so the telephone we had, it had a dial that was round and had openings in it to put your fingers in there and spin it around to different numbers. And also, not too many people had their own telephone. They had what they called party lines, where there might be 2 or 3 people on your party line that you could, if you picked up your phone and somebody was on it, you could actually hear the conversation and even join in. And
Like strangers, Miles.
What?
yeah, strangers might hear what they could tune into.
Would they be your neighbors or just random people? Would they necessarily be your neighbors, or could they be from anywhere?
I think they're kind of close neighbors. Usually.
Yeah.
So what was that?
So like, not everybody didn't have their own phone line, but you would share a phone line with a few other houses. And so if you picked up the phone to make a call, there might already be 2 people having a conversation. And then you have to say, it's like, oh, sorry. Did you have to, when you picked it up, would you say anything? What were the rules of etiquette if someone was already having a conversation? Would you?
Well, you had certain rings. If it rang once, that would be for one of the, it could be 2-party lines and 4-party lines. It was more expensive to have a 2-party line.
I see.
4-party line. So if you were on a 4-party line, you might have been assigned 1 ring or 2 rings, 3 rings. So you listen to how many rings there were.
Yeah. Wow.
The call was for you. And then if you picked it up, but if you heard a click, you knew somebody else was picking it up. Some of the old movies, you may hear someone's talking over the phone, and they know a nosy neighbor is listening. You might say,
Right.
Emmy, get off the line. It means they wanted to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Conversation. So that was a party line, but we didn't have a phone until we moved. I guess moved to Ohio. So I was 14 before we had a telephone, which was a party line.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, we've got about 2 minutes before we should wrap this up for some bedtimes here. But you want to ask those last 2, Miles?
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to stay in here for this, Henry?
It's okay.
There's Henry. He just came in.
Okay.
What type of chores did you do around your house?
Chores.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of chores?
Dusting and washing dishes. We didn't have dishwashers. You had to wash your dishes by hand, and so that was always a job not always a job for the kids, but often it was. And maybe just drying the dishes. You had to have a dishcloth and you would dry the dishes.
Somebody would watch and somebody else would dry.
Ah. How about Henry just took the trash out, just dragged it out to the curb tonight. Did you have that job?
I forget how we worked out trash. I'm sure that we didn't have trash collection like they have now. I forget.
Was it just private operators?
Yeah, I guess it was the garbage man or something. But
and there was the garbage man who would pick up your garbage in a bag, waiting for him at the curb, put it in the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
And we had alleys behind, and that's where the trash collector came and picked up the trash, dumped it in his truck, and took it away.
Okay. Huh.
And boys would cut the lawn after the boys put up in that.
Oh, cutting the lawn. Okay. All right, Miles. Once you ask this last question here.
The last question is, What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, I think I wanted to be an artist, but when it came time for me to take art classes, it would be about high school. Otherwise, we had art rooms in our schools in Detroit, and then we had art teachers, which I became eventually, and but because my parents talked me out of wanting to be an artist, talked me out of being an artist, because they said you can't make a living as an artist. You should have a definite job, what you can do. So that was being an art teacher. If I was an art teacher, I would be doing art, but I wouldn't be doing paintings just for myself.
Mm-hmm. And
Anyway.
she and Grammy did become an art teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever see a piece of art of Grammy's?
At San Luis Obispo, that wall at the cafe or something.
That big mural in San Luis Obispo.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. What else? Anything else of her art that you saw drive out?
The bus.
Oh yeah, the city buses have Grammy's art all over the side. What was it? A picture of?
I thought it was like blue and yellow.
Blue and yellow.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
And a
the
big
flag,
bell.
picture of the flag. Mm-hmm.
Grammy designed the flag.
Oh, San Luis Obispo?
She sure did.
Wow.
Is that amazing?
Did you know that, Miles? I guess.
I didn't understand when you guys were saying like flag. I thought it was just a normal flag.
Oh,
There's a special flag for the city. So when you were down at the creek and the mission in San Luis, there was 3 flag poles. One flagpole had our nation's flag, stars and stripes, for the United States of America. The second flagpole had a bear on it, which is for the state of California. And the third flagpole had a flag for the city of San Luis Obispo. So that third flag is the one that Grandma designed.
and yes, and then oh dear, Miles, I keep forgetting what I'm talking about.
Talking about all of the pieces of your art that we saw.
I know what I was going to say. But it's gone again.
Actually, if Miles turns around right now, there happens to be a painting of yours directly behind his head.
Really?
If you turn it around,
That one.
you see, yeah, it's just one of many that are around here. But that little, yeah, that's the peacock feathers that was the medicine cabinet. Just happens to be in the
I
garage.
remember speaking
We
of
can
that.
barely see it in the shot,
In me and Henry's room, there is a thing.
but oh yeah.
There's like paintings of Grammy.
Oh yeah, we've got your paintings
Like-
up in their bedroom.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
there's the pigeons, the etching. Is it etching or lithograph of the pigeons is in the...
Lithograph.
Okay. And then, of course, at my office, there are at least 3 paintings.
Like
yeah.
the rainbow tree or something.
Oh, that's a different one. That's Marc Chagall,
Oh.
I think. But anyway, yes, there's a lot of... How about Grampy? What did you want to be when you grew up?
An airplane pilot.
He did that too.
He did become one?
He sure was a pilot.
He learned to fly. And so he took us on trips sometimes.
One time,
States even.
Miles, when your daddy was only about 3 feet long, we flew the airplane to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he took up the whole back seat of the airplane, and Mother, your Grammy, and I were in the front seat. So he went to sleep in the back of a 4-passenger airplane. So he flew when he was very young. And if he cried, we couldn't hear him because the engine noise was enough to drown out his crying. So if you're somebody cry when he goes to sleep, just put him in an airplane and you won't be able to hear him cry.
How's that for an idea?
Wait, you said you were driving the plane when you were
No.
3 feet?
No, Grampy was flying it, and I was asleep on the back seat. I was just a couple feet long. So I slept while they flew from San Luis Obispo all the way to New Mexico.
What?
I don't know, did we fly over the Grand Canyon, or was that too far out of the flight path?
We flew back over the Grand Canyon, so that's I think you were awake at that point. But yeah, we did fly over the Grand Canyon.
Wow.
But on the way,
The rattlesnakes must have seen that plane.
The rattlesnakes must have seen the plane, probably.
Or at least some.
Some of it.
and
Some mules.
when we were flying near the Grand Canyon, your dad wanted to fly over it, and I was just looking at how deep it is down there. No, don't. It's too far down. It's too far down.
Even though you're already 5,000 feet above the ground.
Yeah, right.
What's another 5,000 feet
Yeah.
between friends? That's funny. Wow, this is great. We've got all kinds of stuff. Miles has plenty. He's going to work on this tomorrow and write it up as for his assignment and turn it in to his second grade teacher, Miss Trestrail.
But I'll tell you when you were talking about the television files, we didn't have television when we were small, but when I can remember being maybe 5 years old or 6 like you, and I was allowed to stay up late in the summertime and listen to the Lone Ranger on the radio. So that was a big thing, to listen to the radio and the Lone Ranger. So the television didn't come along until I was about 20 years old.
Wow.
And they had television in Ohio, but when we moved to Florida, it was too far away from any stations, so we didn't have any television in Florida. And when I moved to Michigan to go to school, I didn't have time to watch television when I was going to college. And when I left college, I shared a television in an apartment with a friend. And when Grammy and I got married, then we had our first television set, and she bought it. I said, we can't afford a television set, but she went to Western Auto Store and bought a second-hand black and white television set. So that was our first television set, and then later on she won a raffle at the credit union and got a colored television set. So anyway, we didn't really own a television set until maybe 1961.
And I remember both of those televisions.
Do you?
Yeah.
And if you need an extra television set, there's one in the closet that I don't know what to do with.
Oh, okay. All right.
That we had in the kitchen. It's a white one.
Oh,
Or you could sell it.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, Miles, can you say thank you to Grammy and Grampy for the interview?
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
And before we go, tell Henry that I didn't get a chance to say hi to you when you and your dad were out at the boat the other day. But I thought about that afterwards. I was talking to Dad.
Oh,
Did you go for a boat ride then?
we did. We sailed. We went up the estuary, got up into Oakland. We were chased by a Coast Guard cutter for a little while, and so I had to give Henry a very quick lesson in right-of-way rules for when you're on the water.
But why did he chase you?
He wasn't really chasing us. He was leaving Coast Guard Island, heading out probably to the bay and maybe out to the open water.
So he just passed you then?
Eventually, yeah. But he kind of, I mean, he was coming up on us quite slowly, but he was definitely gaining on us, and so we had to get out of the way. So
Oh, really?
yeah. I mean, along with dozens of other boats probably too. There were a lot of people out sailing.
I'm really surprised that Grammy and Grampy remember things from so long ago.
Are you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're up in the 90s,
When
They're in the 90s.
92, and I'm 90.
So some of these memories.
Close to 100.
close to 100. So some of these memories are over 80 years old.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I had a pet dinosaur. Did I tell you about that, Miles?
No, but that's so funny.
Oh, I forgot. There was one thing I was going to tell you about the flag and also the mural on the toy store wall.
Okay.
And that was that they had competitions. They had people could design a flag and turn it in for to be judged, and they chose my flag as the one to make into a big flag. That would be the city flag, and then I also won the contest for painting a mural on a building downtown. And
Right, Miles we just got a picture of him by that mural, but I had forgotten that was a contest.
Yeah.
Now, didn't they give you $1,000 to hire someone to help you to paint it or something?
Let's see. Was it 1,000? I don't know.
Maybe I might be remembering that wrongly.
Oh, this one young man that was a college student, and he was in the contest, but he didn't win. But he said ahead of time that if he didn't win, he would like to help the person that did win, and he'd like to work on the mural. And so that was really good.
That was nice.
He could bring the ladders, storage on the toy store roof, and
that's right. Rex Wolf.
Yeah, that's right. And he would get on a ladder and paint the high parts of the mural. But I didn't have to get on the ladder and paint.
He later became one of our tenants too.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, at the Grove Street house, I think.
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, that's the actual stories of our lives.
That's
But you should also tell Miles what you wanted for pets when you were small like that.
Oh.
You what? 2 wild animals? What did you
No,
want? Brian.
Wanted a yellow dog and a black dog and a hippopotamus.
That's right. Yellow dog, a black dog, and a hippopotamus.
A yellow dog, a black dog, and a hippopotamus.
That's all I wanted.
That's what your dad wanted.
Pretty simple request, really.
That's specific, kind of.
It is pretty specific. Yeah.
A dog, a yellow dog, and a hippopotamus.
That's right.
So we thought we could build a house for hippopotamus, but we couldn't build one high enough because
Yeah.
it's hard to get a hippopotamus in front door, you know.
It is. It's hard to get a permit for that sometimes.
Also, those are like 3 random animals, or like, well, the 2 dogs, like a yellow and black, would be like bee colors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the hippopotamus kind of
That
out of
was
left
like
field.
off track.
Off track.
It's a little bit. Your dad was a little bit like you, saying funny things every now and then.
Mm-hmm. You and I both. Graham used to keep a list of funny things that I said. And
Like you keep it of me and Willa and Henry.
And Henry, yeah, I've got a file on all of you guys.
Oh, that's good.
We've been going over pictures, so we have going through a lot of crits, so of you folks growing up.
Well, mostly.
Show one paper.
Yeah. Right. Well, anyway. Is this enough of a...
This is great. This is perfect. This will give us plenty to work with for Miles's report.
As we talk, we keep thinking of others.
Oh yeah, he'll have.
We might have other assignments where other stories would come in handy.
It's true. Yeah, this might not be our last interview this time.
Because your grade school teacher might say, "You poor boy, you had such crazy grandparents."
Well, thank you both.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay,
Bye.
we love you. Have a good night.
We love you too.
Say hello to
I will. They're in the other room still working away on something over there. Okay.
Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
How was that?
Good. It feels good to be finished.
It feels good to be finished. Okay.
Can I write the rest of the stuff tomorrow?
Bye-bye. Yes, you can. Definitely. Good job, Miles.